Welcome, everybody. This is episode 1 of Keep It on the DL. I'm Louis Angiolillo.
I'm Devin Buonanno.
And let's get right into it, Dev. This pandemic facing the U.S. that started what feels like an eternity ago was really just 2 weeks ago when the NBA announced that they would be shutting everything down. That led to the NCAA shutting down, which eventually led to spring training getting shut down and golf shutting down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a day we're definitely never going to forget, that's for sure. I mean,
the day sports stopped.
That was the cover, or the back cover of the Post, I think, right? It was the back cover of the Post.
Yep, right on the Post.
Last Thursday on the 12th, and definitely something I'll never forget in my lifetime. So, I mean, it seems like the NCAA, they were really the ones that kind of set the precedent with really, I mean, it was really Duke by saying we're not going to the tournament, and then it was Kansas saying that they were ceasing all sports operations pretty much, and then one thing led to another, and then the NBA, and then the whole Rudy Gobert thing, and then the next thing you know, the MLB and the NHL were following suit. So
I really think the Rudy Gobert thing kicked it off. Like, once Gobert got it, it's just like, that's when hockey even was like, we play in those arenas. You know, we're in those locker rooms too. We gotta shut down. Otherwise, you know, maybe if hockey had their own arena, they're so closed up, they wear masks, all of them. Maybe they could have kept going with no fans. But once Gobert got it, and it's just you don't know where to go from there. Then Donovan Mitchell got it. Then Woodward in Detroit got it, and now, as we found out earlier today, four Brooklyn Nets players with the virus.
One mega star, which obviously, I mean, if there was one guy to get on the Nets, it would be KD, and he somehow got it. And he's not even playing. So it just really goes to show how scary this situation is, how contagious this virus really is.
Right, you almost wondered, like, did he get it walking around in Brooklyn, or did he shake hands with someone that they played and they got it from that person? But I don't know. I don't think they played the Jazz. No. Am I correct? I don't think they played the Jazz over the last week.
They did. I believe the Jazz were.
Did they? I thought they played the Knicks.
They played the Knicks, because I remember that. Yeah, I remember that I saw a report that the Jazz, or rather all the visiting teams in the Garden for all the sports, use the same locker room. So after the Jazz came into the Garden, the Capitals came in for a game against the Rangers, and then the Devils came in for a game against the Rangers. So everybody was like, I mean, obviously with Gobert having it and Donovan Mitchell having it, how is Ovechkin and Nico Hischier not going to have it? You know, I mean, so it's scary stuff, especially seeing just how contagious, like I said before. I mean, I think everybody's taking the right precautions. I don't think there was any other way that they can cut it.
Right. I mean, they saw that was going on in the Premier League, where, like, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm not a Premier League guy, but I feel like half the players there have it.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, I saw that I think 2 guys on Juventus have it.
Probably.
I believe. I mean, even though it's not the Premier League, but an Arsenal's manager has it.
Saw a couple referees got it too. Some officiating people got it too, and you know, they jump from game to game too. So basically, there's almost a trace that can lead you to like 28 of the 30 teams, like 32 teams, whatever it is.
Right.
It's just like, what the hell? That's how quickly it could potentially spread. So, I mean, at first, I have to say, I was pissed that everything was shutting down. I'm like, come on. You know, don't take this away from me. People turn to sports in these kind of times, and, you know, I'm just sitting here like, normally I just throw in a game and just start feeling better. But now it's just like, how much Impractical Jokers can I watch, Dev?
I know, it gets old after a while. I mean, obviously, since literally the beginning of time almost, it seems like, I mean, you roll, one season ends, you roll into another. It's a consistent sports trend, even in the summer. Baseball rules the sports landscape. You have a game every single night. Every single night there's something, you know, and the fact that there's nothing. I mean, my friends in my fantasy football league, they like to sports bets, since a few of them are in Jersey, and they've been betting on Mexican soccer and Peruvian soccer, just to kind of get their fix.
Yeah, did you see bets on the weather? You can make bets on the weather.
Dude, I saw that. I did, and I actually filled out a form to that sent to my email. I'm going to check it out.
But it's like the precipitation over under 0.025 inches for the tomorrow. Is that what it is? Like, are we betting over unders on rain here?
That is awesome.
Is it going to hit
awesome.
over under 58.5 degrees tomorrow? What are we looking at?
Anything to get the fix.
Anything, right? Oh, jeez.
My God.
I know FanDuel had darts up. You could bet some darts.
Man, I think even I saw something about darts even being canceled. Somebody was like, "Oh no, not the darts." Never really.
Yeah, I'm just going to take this opportunity to save my money. Just not necessarily feel like I need the fix right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I saw? We'll touch upon it before, but there's a possibility that we're going to have baseball, hockey, and
basketball all start up in June.
Seasons in like mid-June.
All three of those starting back up in June. It's almost like enough. But I want to say that for the end of the show, what we think we should do with all the sports and everything. But the one sport that we can't fix right now is the NCAA, and that's just done. I mean, I definitely, even summer sports, these guys that play baseball in their senior year, that their last hurrah is just completely taken away from them. Guys' last push for the draft just don't have anything to put out there right now. They're probably going to go into their, play in their independent leagues, so the ones that are going pro, but just horrible for those baseball players, softball players, what else goes on? Lacrosse players, even though I hate lacrosse, I'm sorry, guys, I am. But all those whatever. There's water polo too, like even little things like that. I mean, that just strip from them, and it's just sad. And especially the seniors that punch their ticket to the tourney, and bam, it's just taken away. It's like, hey, by the way, I got these NCAA tournament tickets front row, but you'll never be able to use them. Here you go. It's just horrible.
Exactly, and you know what? I mean, I think this was the year. I mean, every year it's March Madness, and it's March Madness for a reason. Obviously 2 years ago with UMBC.
Upsetting Virginia there.
Upsetting Virginia, of course, the first 16 seed to beat the number one. March is the pinnacle of sports. It's the third month of the year, but you can't get any better than that. I mean, you have March Madness, you have NBA and NHL playoff races going into the playoffs for each of those. I mean, it's tough. And going back to the NCAA this year for basketball, there was no clear-cut number one this year. I mean, it was wide open. I mean, it
totally
was
Baylor's
wide open. It was Baylor's race for probably a little more than half the season. But I mean, no one was like, "Oh my God, this is Baylor's year." I mean, they weren't the dominant team. So I mean, this was going to be a really fun tournament. This could have been a tournament where you're going to have 2 7 seeds in the Final Four type of thing.
100%. It's just any team that got hot could have made it. You could have saw if a team like Dayton, I think, was pretty for real. I would have had Kansas winning it all. That would have been my pick. Yeah. I think it's a relatively safe choice, but they got 2 big guys, one in Asabuki, who's going to be a lottery pick, and Dotson can play that guard real well, hit some big shots. I liked Kansas to win it all, to be totally honest, but we'll never know, and I'm not going to sit here and play the what if game.
No, you can only do it for so long. But I mean, I guess going back to that Kansas team, anytime you have a Bill Self coach team, I mean, they have a chance to go the distance. I don't care if they're a top 10, an AP top 10 team, or even if they're a bubble team. I mean, when you have Bill Self on the bench or whatever, I mean, they're going to have a shot. But like you said, we're never going to have a Joel Lenardi bracketology. We're not going to have a selection Sunday, even though it would have been 2 days ago. But, I mean, we should be preparing for, I believe, the playing games would have been tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, selection Sunday. No,
right?
Today. I think the first one would have been today. The next set would have been tomorrow. And then those Tuesday guys play Thursday. Those Wednesday guys play Friday. Yep. So we would have had your 11-11 seed matchups tonight.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker. I really, I gotta tell you, Lou. I mean, March Madness, filling out those brackets, and just I study these matchup two teams. I would be like, oh, what the heck? Houston's a 13 seed this year. Why are they a 13 seed this year? And then you read the dialogues in the ESPN. Oh, they play lockdown defense. This is a team that could shock a few people. And it's like, this kind of sounds like a team that sounds like a good upset to move on to the round of 32 type thing. It stinks. I mean, analyzing teams, I have never even watched a second of their basketball this year, but filling out the bracket, that's what makes it so fun, and we're going to have to wait till next year, unfortunately.
Completely stripped. That's the best way to say it. We were stripped, as not as much as those students are, but it definitely feels like we were.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up on the pandemic right now. And even the one time a year where you're going to watch golf is going to be now, and it's just like, oh, cool, that's gone too. And the Derby's moved to September, so everything's all over the place.
Yeah, I know. Well, going to the Derby, I mean, I guess in the Derby's case, I mean, if there's a Triple Crown winner, it's going to be crowned at the Kentucky Derby, which I don't know.
I think it's all getting pushed.
You think
I don't know.
Belmont
I really don't. What the Belmont's
Preakness?
supposed to be? What, June?
Yeah,
May, June?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I'm supposed to go see Derek Jeter get inducted to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and I'm not even banking on that happening. So,
wow.
I mean, it's just, I'm going to be very pessimistic right now and just think that nothing's coming back ever. But
there's reason to be.
Yeah, let's get into what's saving us right now, and that is NFL free agency. And we'll obviously start with the biggest news was Tom Brady not returning to New England, most likely going to sign with the Bucs, looking at $30 million a year to play his final 2 years of football in Tampa Bay. TB goes to TB. What did you think? Did you think he was leaving?
I did the whole time. I wasn't buying anything anybody's saying, you know what, he's going to be a Patriot for life. He's been there. I really believed in the whole dialogue that Brady and Belichick, they're just two big-headed guys. I mean, I don't think their relationship, I don't think it was a bad relationship, but I just don't think, I think they each wanted to separate themselves. I really believe the whole dialogue that they wanted to establish themselves.
It's like having, like if Michael Jordan played on the Bulls with two Michael Jordans, like it's just almost as if they had to go their separate ways.
Right.
Because Phil Jackson won with the
agree.
Bulls, he won with the Lakers. Phil was real good, like kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think I saw the divorce coming here. I said it from basically his last pass, which was that pick six, which I do kind of feel bad. That's his last throw in New England. I do feel bad. Because, I mean, for majority of the younger career, I guess when I was coming up, because my brother was a Patriot fan, it gave me more incentive to hate Tom Brady. But he kind of grew on me. I stopped hating him kind of, and I do kind of feel bad that that's his last play, although I do think it's kind of funny. But it is the end of, that dynasty in New England now. I think it's over. And I think it opens up the door for another team, and we'll see who's ready to take it there in the East.
Yeah, I was reading something today saying how this is the longest odds a Patriots team has ever had since the 2002 season, where they were 20-1 odds to win the whole thing. And of course, later that year, in typical Brady fashion, they went on to win the Super Bowl with that Vinatieri kick down in Houston.
Against the Rams there.
Against the Rams, yeah.
That was that like 2001 season, 2002 Super Bowl, and then the year after that, the Bucs beat the Raiders.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, so I mean, believe it or not, fun tidbit. I mean, especially as a Jet fan. Well, I'll say this real quick. I'm being completely honest with you. There was a part of me that really wanted him to stay in New England. Because as much as I hate seeing how we pay the Patriots twice a year, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, those are 2 losses. Whether they come down to MetLife or whether we go up to Foxborough, those are 2 L's. No matter what way the Jets cut it. But you know what? I loved seeing him play. I love watching him 2 times a year. I want him to stay because there's no better joy than beating
You
Tom
watch
Brady.
him more than 2 times a year. That guy gets at least 5 primetime games. It's not like you're deprived of watching Tom Brady.
No, and he's going to get that as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer too. But I mean, playing as an in-division rival, instead of waiting for him to come around every 4 years with the schedule, it's tough. But I mean, the AFC is going to be wide open. I think it's the Bills' time to come in, unless the Jets start making some moves. But Darnold,
I do feel that way too.
Right? Yeah, the Bills.
That's
good.
the Bills' time right now.
Yes, I agree.
That defense is legit. Allen's. I don't know if Allen's a true winner, but he can win football games. But I don't know if he can take all the pressure. And lead a team with 2 minutes to go there. I think Singletary's a good young running back. The wide receivers are questionable, but perfect lead in here. Another trade that happened here, Stephon Diggs goes to the Bills, gives Josh Allen a weapon to use.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, listen, for any young quarterback, you need a number 1 wide receiver that's going to be able to put the team on his back. Diggs is one of the best route runners in the entire league. He is a little bit of a diva. He loves drama. But you know what? He didn't really have a good year last year, but you know what he's capable of. I really don't think he was happy in Minnesota. I mean, going from Minneapolis to Buffalo was not really an upgrade in anybody's mind. That's for damn sure. But I think this is really going to pay dividends for Josh Allen. I think it's going to pay dividends for Cole Beasley, too. I mean, you're going to have him on the slot. And Beasley out wide, and it's going to mean a lot to Allen. This is what you need for him to develop. I mean, especially with Gurley potentially being on the block, maybe they swoop in and get Gurley maybe for. I
think Singletary's a good young stud there. In Buffalo, I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he's pretty damn good.
Right. No, he definitely is. He's definitely a serviceable back. He can do some nice things, but I mean, I definitely think that the Bills are very aggressive. I really, really like what they're building up there. I really do. Their front seven's great. Obviously, they got some great corners in Tre'Davious White, and their secondary
great corner. Maybe him and Gilmore top 2 in the game.
Yeah, easy, and they're in the same division.
Yep, and let's just talk about the Minnesota side of this. I mean, you can go back to last year where they just felt like just Diggs was not happy. I don't know whether it was Kirk Cousins or being in just Minnesota where there's not much to do, but you're going to Buffalo now where there's really not much to do around there. But yeah, you just kind of saw Diggs being unhappy with it, and Minnesota did turn it into the 3 picks in 2020 and another one in 2021. So they did pick up 4 picks, which I think this was a good deal for both sides, to be honest, because like we've seen, you can get a wide receiver in the 5th round and he's a stud. You don't have to take a wide receiver in the 1st round to hit on a wide receiver. So I do think this was a good deal for both sides.
Yeah, no, I agree with you fully. I mean, I think either team would take this in a heartbeat. Any team in the league for both sides. I mean, I really like what Minnesota did. They have a ton of picks in 2020. They have more than 10. I believe they might even have 13 picks this year. So whether they want to use it to move up, maybe they really like somebody.
Right, I mean, and that's why they're not bringing back they released Linval Joseph and Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, that Xavier Rhodes.
Those are 2 big names that are out there that they're trying to replace in the draft for cheaper money.
Yeah, no, listen. I mean, the Vikings are going to be good next year. I mean, they had a little bit of a down year a little bit this year. Cousins started playing a little better towards the end of the year, which is what they needed him to do, and obviously play towards that contract.
Which they just got a 2-year extension on, by the way.
Yes.
But I want to end the Minnesota talk with this is I don't believe in Kirk Cousins at all. I think he folds. I don't think there's really a way that Minnesota is going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. I just do not see it. I'm sorry to say it, but I just do not see Kirk Cousins hoisting a Lombardi trophy.
No,
I just don't see it.
I think for the contract that he got, I think he was a product of the market, considering what the market was that year. I mean,
right, that was after Stafford got huge bucks.
Yes, exactly. It was the year. I don't know if was it that offseason, Lou, or
Stafford became the highest paid quarterback, and then Cousins got his deal.
Right, and thank God that he didn't sign with the Jets because I mean, listen, I wouldn't have hated it at the time. I really wanted it because the Jets haven't had a quarterback since. I mean, I'll even say Pennington, so we'll even say 20 years, or at the time 18 years. But it's I do like him, but he's not going to be able to take over a game. He's just not. He's not one of those guys. He'll be able to get to a divisional round. He might even sneak into a conference playoff game, but he's not going to be one of those guys that just sets fire in the playoffs. And he's like, even like a Nick Foles, even just guys that perform in the spotlight. I believe Cousins is 0-8 in primetime games. 0-8 Monday Night
Something
Football,
like that.
Right?
Monday Night Football,
Monday Night Football,
and he's got, I think he had 2 wins against teams 500 or more.
Right.
But speaking of guys that can take over a game, DeAndre Hopkins finds his way in Arizona with Kyler Murray. I mean, I think that's the most shocking thing in free agency, to be totally honest right now. There's just the last couple of days, that's the most shocking to me.
I could not
Hands down.
believe my
Hands
eyes when I
down.
saw that. I really couldn't. That's one of the most baffling trades I think I've ever seen in my sports life. You know,
It really is. And they feel like they got back a bag of footballs for it. I mean, you got David Johnson, who's not healthy. He's just not a healthy running back at this point in his career. Maybe 3 years ago. But David Johnson right now, not. I just don't see it. I mean, now they got 2 picks. They got a second rounder in 2020 and a 2021 fourth. I mean, it just feels like Houston just I have no idea what happened. It's almost like Houston knows something about Hopkins that the rest of the world doesn't.
Exactly.
It's like, does Hopkins have 2 broken ribs and a broken foot? Like, I have no idea.
Right. That is the only thing I could possibly think of. I don't see how you trade the best wide receiver in football. I'll go that far. I don't think a lot of people disagree with me.
Last year, I agreed with you. Last year, I was saying Hopkins definitely is the number 1 wide receiver in football. But going into this year, I'm going to put Michael Thomas above him. But yeah, he's still top 2.
1-2.
I mean, he still
either way
is.
you flip flop. I mean, Michael Thomas is not a poor man's DeAndre Hopkins, and vice versa.
No way.
You know,
no way.
And the chemistry between Watson and Hopkins is everything that you draw up with your franchise quarterback and a number one receiver. I don't
It really
get
is.
It. And
you're going to see how Kyler Murray reacts with him now. I mean, Fitzgerald's past his prime. He always flirts with coming back or not, so no one really knows if he's retired.
Right.
So,
and this is, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury could not have drawn this up any better. Whatever he's working up out there, whatever Arizona's got him doing, I mean, if they gave him the keys to the car, this guy knows what he's doing. There's a reason why there was such high demand for him coming out of Texas Tech, because being able to snag his guy in Kyler Murray, obviously the number 1 pick, but being able to trade Josh Rosen for some equity and being able to get DeAndre Hopkins for a cactus, really. They didn't give anything up. It's crazy. I'll never understand that trade. I really think that Murray-Hopkins duo is going to be fire. I really do think so. And don't forget, I mean, they gave away David Johnson, putting full faith in Kenyon Drake too, who lit it up for Arizona after he got traded from Miami.
Yeah, he did. He did do well there. I don't think, like I said, I do think running backs might be a position that's slightly overrated. Although I'm never going to say anything bad about Saquon Barkley, but you do think that it's a position that's not going to win you a Super Bowl. That's basically it with that.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the biggest surprise I saw over the last couple of days. I just want to get into one more trade that happened quickly. San Fran traded DeForest Buckner to Indy for their 13th overall pick in the first round. So San Fran had a lot of those D linemen that had to get paid, so they gave 5 years to Eric Armstead, and they traded DeForest Buckner to Indy with a 13th pick. And watch, they're going to nail like a D tackle with that 13th pick and not miss a beat there. So I do think that's a great move for San Fran, signing Armstead, moving Buckner, getting that 13th pick. Hopefully getting that another D-tackle piece to keep that line as strong as it was, which I thought was easily, hands down, the best in football last year.
Exactly. Being able to go from the second overall pick to the Super Bowl, obviously, thanks in part to Nick Bosa. But that defense is mean. That defense is mean. I mean, giving up Bruckner, I mean, they kind of had to, considering how many guys they had to get paid. But, I mean, getting the 13th pick in exchange for him, and then you saw the contract he got. He's the second highest paid defensive tackle, only behind Aaron Darnold, which obviously is very deserving on Darnold's part. But for Bruckner, too. So, I mean, I like what the Colts are doing also. They got Rivers. They got a nice guy on defense.
Let's go right into the quarterbacks there. Let's go right into it. Rivers gets that just a 1 year deal. 1 year, I think 25 million, which is a lot for Rivers to get. I'm thinking I think this guy's washed. He didn't play behind a great offensive line, but God, did he have weapons. You had Eckler, you had Gordon, you had Keenan, you had Mike Williams, you had Hunter Henry. I mean, how much more do you want? And you don't perform still. So I just think that's a reach there for the Colts. I don't think this is going to be a Colts year. I don't see the Colts going into the South, being competitive in that South. We'll see with Hopkins out of there now. Watson's going to have to find a new favorite receiver. The Jags are in turmoil, and Tennessee, honestly, looks like the front runner there. But we'll see. And Tennessee paid Tannehill 4 years, $118 million, 62 of it guaranteed. I thought that was a lot. What do you think?
That's a lot. It's a lot, but it's a quarterback's market. I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. Quarterbacks are always going to get paid. But I've always been a fan of Tannehill's. I really, really have. Even coming out of Texas, out of A&M. I even liked him down in Miami. I really did. Obviously, what he did in the playoffs, I mean, he didn't do anything special. He was serviceable, but he got him to...
He was 72. He had 2 games under 100 yards throwing, I'm pretty sure. He had 72 yards against the Patriots throwing.
Nothing special, but you know what? I mean, obviously, Derrick Henry put him on
they put the tag on Henry.
They did. Yeah. And they tagged him, too, which, I mean, he'll get paid next offseason, but I judging from what Coach Vrabes said on Part of My Take last week, he was a big fan of Tannehill's, really liked what he did, and he didn't really seem to be that interested in his BFF Brady on the market. But Tannehill, I think he'll shine this season. I think he'll be able to, with no pressure. He doesn't have an incompetent head coach, cough, cough, Adam Gase, or anything like that. So he's going to have a great support system. He's got, obviously, an awesome run game. He's going to
A.J. Brown's a good young wide receiver there, too.
I really like what Tennessee is building down there. I really do. I think they're
and they picked up Vic Beasley for that defense, sack machine. Vic Beasley joining Tennessee, so that defense just got better.
Absolutely.
But honestly, I wanted to bring this up. Brock Osweiler got 4 years, $72 million, to compare to Tannehill's 4 year, $118. I don't think much will be worse than the Osweiler contract, but I'm going to look at this just in case. Just in case. I'm going to say I think Tannehill is a big mistake for Tennessee. I thought they should have gave Brady 2 years and tried to go and win a Super Bowl. I really thought they should have went after Brady harder. Not sure why they didn't. Vrabel, obviously played with Brady, knows Tom Brady. I thought that was going to be the fit. I really did. But I want to see Tannehill compared to Osweiler with this deal. He should be better. And even being better doesn't mean it necessarily paid off, because obviously I think the Osweiler deal was probably the worst quarterback deal in NFL history.
Yeah, by far. There's no argument.
Real bad.
No argument.
Really, really bad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Terrible. In the South, Jacksonville traded Calais Campbell to Baltimore.
How about that
Baltimore
defense getting torn up?
Getting that defense. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, they're that fantasy defense that someone stupidly takes in like the 8th round, and you're just like, okay, go ahead, take them. Yeah. Take them for all I care. Then they're like ranked in the bottom 25. Right. So, yeah. Let's keep it in the quarterbacks. Drew Brees, 2 years, $50 million, going back to the Saints, trying to get that second Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think he'll get it too. either this year or next year.
You think the Saints got it within the next 2 years?
I do. I really like the Saints. I really do.
I mean, Alvin Kamara needs to be better. He was bad last year. Let's just say it as it was. He was bad.
He wasn't healthy, and you know what? I really don't think that they had their game plan together without Mark Ingram. I think that drew a very big void for them. They're going to have to figure that out, and I think, Sean Payton's an offensive mastermind, so he'll be able to figure that out.
He is.
And you got Michael Thomas.
See that defense, yeah. I think they signed Michael Thomas to a long-term deal already.
Yeah, last offseason.
Yeah, yep. They got Michael Thomas locked up for a few years. I was hoping he would hit free agency and go to the Giants, but that was a very glimpse hope. Yeah, no way. Other quarterbacks, Mariota goes to the Raiders, give Carr some competition there, and Jason Witten also going to Oakland on a 1-year deal. Dak Prescott gets franchise tagged by the Cowboys. No long-term deal. I don't know if they're going to work out one, but Dak almost feels slightly disrespected by the Cowboys, possibly. He hasn't said anything, but I can't not think he'll feel that way. I think he wants to be the guy there, but I honestly just think he's a serviceable quarterback that goes to the next level because of an amazing run game and an amazing offensive line. Yes. And, I don't know if I don't think we touched upon this, but how about Amari Cooper, too? 5-year, $100 million for Cooper. Yeah. Yep, they gave it right to Cooper. Yeah, it shows where Dallas's priorities lie, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't blame him. They got him for, I believe it was a second rounder from Oakland? I think a few
first.
They traded a first.
First, yeah.
Man,
yeah, first. Listen, that's when they traded away Cleveland Mack. They had a few first rounders. That was that year.
Yes, it was a first. You're right. It was. I like obviously what he's done down there. He and Dak have some great chemistry. Dak wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't see how. No,
show me what you've done. Show me why you deserve this. You couldn't win a 500 division last year, and you want that much money?
Yeah,
stop it.
Exactly.
Stop it. Your defense was pretty damn good, too. You had the best linebackers in football. Byron Jones was a top corner in football. Come on. You got to win football games, period.
Yes, and I think they're going to be in trouble. Jerry Jones is going to have to lay down the law a little bit in Dallas. They're going to be throwing Dak a lot of money next offseason. They obviously have Zeke.
Before Jerry Jones lays down the law, he's got to get out of there.
That's obviously beside
I think
the point.
He's a problem.
I think he's the problem, but he's an egomaniac. He loves having control, so he's going to learn his lesson. Dak having to get a lot of money. Obviously, Zeke's getting paid. And Amari, you're going to have your three best players, your three guys on the offensive side of the ball getting paid. But, what's going to happen with that offensive line? You're going to have to pay those guys up, too. And, that is any quarterback can play behind that line. Any running back can.
I think we've come, at least as Giant fans, we've come to see that an offensive line is better than I guess you can say, Odell Beckham receiver. We've seen it. What did the Giants do with Odell? They went to one playoff game. He drops seven passes in that game. It's just atrocious. But I'd rather have the best offensive line and the best wide receiver in football, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So one of Dallas's playmakers, Byron Jones, finds his way in Miami, and Miami is throwing around all their money right now. They signed Byron Jones to make him the highest paid corner in the league. They signed Kyle Van Noy to a 4-year deal and Shaq Lawson to a 4-year deal as well, I believe. Yeah. And the worst one they did was Eric Flowers, 3 for $30.
Yeah.
I don't know how Eric Flowers is getting $10 million a year. If you told me Eric Flowers is going to get $30 million in 3 years, 3 years ago, I would have arrested you for being on drugs. Yeah. So I don't see the Flowers signing there much. I think he's going to play right tackle there because, right tackle, not the blindside blocker because he was absolutely atrocious there. But yeah, Miami making some big moves.
good for them. I mean, they obviously really needed it. They need to change up the culture down there.
And sneaky, a team that finished strong. I think they got 4 wins in their last 8 weeks.
They did. They obviously beat the Pats in Week 17 to have them not get the bye. So really, they could be looked at as ending the Pats dynasty in a way. But they snagged Van Noy from the Pats. Obviously, Van Noy was a very, very, very serviceable guy for Belichick and Pat Patricia when Patricia was up in New England.
The Pats spent their money on McCourty there. They decided to keep McCourty over Van Noy.
I don't blame them. I think that was a smart move. McCourty is just an awesome leader. And, I mean, I tried not to be a little bit of a homer because McCourty went to my high school and he's from Nyack, down the road from me. But, no, he's a captain of that defense. I think they made the right decision. But Van Noy got paid. And it's, I don't know, I'm interested to see how it plays out for him. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the deal is in Miami. So going to other terrible teams, I think Cleveland is doing it all wrong again. I think they're spending money where they don't need to be spending money. You're going to bring in Austin Hooper for $44 million. I mean, Jesus, you guys need an offensive line. You guys need better disciplined players on defense. They brought in Case Keenum for $18 million for 3 years. I don't know if that's to put pressure on Baker or not, but it's not like I want to go from Baker to Case Keenum. I don't think either of those quarterbacks are going to give him anything. I will give them credit for signing Conklin, the left tackle on Tennessee. Yeah. So they got him $30 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. I think it was 3 for 42. So that's their one good signing. But I still don't like what I'm seeing in Cleveland. I still think they're going to finish right there with the Bengals at the bottom 2.
They try. Obviously last year they won the offseason. Everyone's saying this is finally the Browns' time. They're turning the corner. Here they come. They got Baker Mayfield. They got OBJ. It's... you got Odell, who's obviously a nutcase, and then you got Baker, who's Baker, but...
a nutcase as well, you could say it. He's a nutcase as well.
He is, but I do believe in him. I do. I think he's just got to calm down a little bit, and he'll mature. And
the biggest takeaway Cleveland season was Myles Garrett's helmet chomp on Mason Rudolph. So that's the highlight of the Brown season last year, if you ask me. And I still think they're treaded in the wrong direction. Other free agent things, just to keep you updated: Jimmy Graham goes to Chicago, 2 years, $16 million. Atlanta released Freeman. Devontae Freeman, he is free agent. He can sign anywhere he wants. He is getting old, possible retirement. I don't know. They also signed Ravens tight end Hayden Hurst, Atlanta, and Detroit gets Jamie Collins, which is a big defensive player for Detroit. Now I'm going to give you just a quick rundown on the Giants here. You'll get into the Jets right after I briefly speak about the Giants. They signed cornerback from Carolina, Bradbury, 3 years, $45 million. Blake Martinez gets a 3-year deal, $10 million a year. They put their tag on Leonard Williams, which I guess they basically had to do because of that god-awful trade with the Jets, which I did like at first, but I was stupid for me to like at first. It was a bad trade. And looks like they're not going to re-sign Marcus Golden. They went with Kyler Fackrell, another Green Bay player, 1-year deal, edge rusher, pass rusher type guy, but not a game-changing guy. Look, what they did, and Levine Toilolio from Atlanta, good blocking tight end. I do like that pickup. Another guy to block. Need blockers. So they bring in... No one makes you drop your jaw and go, wow, we got him. Like, let's go. I'm excited. These are all kind of guys that you're basically writing down to yell at Gettleman if they stink right now. That's basically what you're doing. These guys better perform, because if these guys don't perform, Gettleman's done. Absolutely finished.
He's on thin ice anyway.
Thin ice. So if these guys don't perform, it's just going to be disappointing. I mean, I'm very skeptical over it. I'm not going to harp on it now. If anyone wants to, I think it's an overreaction. Put it this way, I think I was a little more excited when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones than signed all these free agents. I was. I mean, I'm very skeptical now, but I'm not going to jump on it, and no one else should, because you all wanted to jump on Daniel Jones being taken at 6 last year, and he's looking like him and Kyler Murray are the best 2 quarterbacks in that draft. So we'll see. We'll see what these guys come in and do, but give me what you got on the Jets.
Yeah, not a whole lot. It's similar to what you were talking about with the Giants, but personally, I mean, the most exciting part about the Jets offseason was cutting Jermaine Johnson. I mean, that was McCagnon's pretty much his biggest splash during his tenure with the Jets. The Jets could save a little bit of a cap on that cut, but I mean, he was just atrocious for the Jets. He could not stay healthy. He could not cover anything. It was an abysmal contract. It looked really good on paper. Coming over from the Rams, something that the Jets really needed at the time, but so they could save a little bit on that. And I'm a believer in Joe Douglas. I'll get that right off the bat. And he realizes the need for the Jets. The biggest need is the offensive line, and I really think they're going to tackle that in the draft, even with how deep this wide receiver class is, and how badly they're trying to surround Sam with some offensive weapons. But I mean, there's a ton of holes to fill for the Jets.
Yeah, Sam Darnold, longest tenured quarterback in the AFC East now.
Yes, sir. And believe it or not, he's younger than Joe Burrow too. So that's still pretty funny.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
He's younger than Joe Burrow, which is crazy. So Sam it'll be his 3rd season, and Burrow will be coming into his 1st, which is pretty strange. But I mean, the Jets made two. I'm not even going to say splashes, but they made 2 signings. They signed the tackle from Seattle, George Font, 3 for $30 with the 13.7 guaranteed. He's had a few injuries along the way. But played for Seattle for a team with a pretty good offensive line with Russ up there, so fortifies the offensive front a little bit. And then later today, they probably the biggest signing they had was signing center Connor McGovern from the Broncos with $18 million guaranteed.
Trying to beef up that O-line, which might lead me to say they might go Judy if he's available.
I hope so. I mean,
in the draft, there's two big names in the draft, Judy and I'm going blank on the other wide receiver's name. They're going early.
Jefferson, right, from LSU.
No, not even him. He's good. It was it'll come back to me. But yeah, I think Judy is a great wide receiver that the Jets should definitely look at.
Yeah.
But like we said, you want to solidify that line before you go get those weapons.
Exactly. That's the most important thing.
Right. Concluding our NFL talk here, the only thing going on in today's world. NFL CBA was passed, which basically gave younger players more money, and they're not going to test for weed anymore. So young players saw that and just signed up for it. Veteran players didn't like it. They don't want the extra game. They don't want the extra playoff spot. They want to keep those 1 and 2 bye seeds with the bye. Now in 2021, the bye only the 1 seed will get a bye. And we know how important those buys are. It's so important just to rest guys and just look at film for another week. So those are the 2 big changes in the CBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be weird having 17 regular season games, I think. I really don't see the attraction for 17 games because realistically...
No, I don't either. I mean, you can't finish 500.
No, you can't. That's the number one thing. I actually saw a meme on Twitter. It said, "Oh man, now the Cowboys are just going to finish 8 and 9 now." And I saw that. I was like, "Wait, that adds up to 17." And I said to myself, "That's what's going to happen. You're going to have teams that are going to finish, not finish 500. It's going to be impossible. You're either going to finish.
It's going to be
it's
going to be weird.
It's gonna be
definitely going to be weird. And the other receiver thing was C.D. Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, right? Exactly.
Yes, those two receivers could be jet bound. I think it'd be a good pick if you like your line, but like I said, I think this draft is pretty deep in O linemen. Maybe they'll go with a guy like Andrew Thomas from Georgia, but we'll see. We'll see what's in store for them. The Giants too, whether they want to trade the 4th pick or go with a Isaiah Simmons linebacker, safety, all over the place kind of defender. And one thing I wanted to say was I'm upset that the draft is basically, it's not canceled, but it feels like it is, because that setup in Vegas with the boat looked unbelievable.
So sick.
I was waiting for some dude like in the 7th round, couldn't believe it, and just jumps off the boat in the water and just swims there. Like that's what I was waiting for.
It would have happened.
But
it's a shame.
Corona stealing everything from us.
Of course. I'm team.
All right, so we're at 45 minutes here. One of the longer ones. First one going to be a little longer. But let's get into our final 5 minutes here. What I wanted to bring up we'll talk about is what we think each league should do here facing the virus. Obviously, the NCAA is done. The PGA Tour has been canceled. The Master has been pushed. So I really think for the Masters kind of sport, golf, they just kind of have to wait and see what happens and just kind of monitor this and see if it keeps growing, and if it just doesn't stop. Once it stops growing and we hit a plateau and then hopefully things start to decrease, I think that's when you can start playing without fans. I don't want to bring back the fans right away because you don't want to see another spike, but I think that's when you can start bringing back golf and letting them tee off without fans. Golf is not a big deal. I'm sure the players basically, like when the ball goes in the hole, people shouting mashed potatoes, it's all funny. But just bring. I want to see some things back sooner rather than later, which almost feels like it won't happen because now that they're out, I feel like they're just going to wait till fans can come back.
Yeah, I agree with you too, especially with the PGA. Early spring, you look forward to the Masters, so the fact that you're not going to have the beautiful flowers and just the spring aurora. That's true spring spirit, at least for me. That's what I look forward to. Augusta's are the most beautiful grounds in all the PGA Tour, I think. Either that or St. Andrews or Pebble Beach, at least for me, when you think of golf. But, the Masters and the Masters, it's the biggest tournament of the year. But I agree, Lou. Not having the fans there for the PGA isn't going to kill it. I think it's what the sport will need. I think it's unfortunately what all the sports are going to need.
And if golf goes up against nothing else too, it's going to bring up their ratings big time.
Yeah, no,
I'll watch the hell out of golf if it's the only thing that's on.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody will. And I think, the Masters always do well anyway. But the sports fan in me wants the fans to return with the sport, but I don't think that's
we all do. I think we all do. All right, what do you got on the NHL? What should the NHL do?
So I've been
try to do it in a minute here.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to look this up all day. I think that they should do a 24-team playoff, some sort of best out of three.
Put 24 in.
24-team playoff. Yeah, have everybody come in. The best 24 teams, 12 from each conference. Playing games, best of threes, and then obviously the best of sevens for the semis and the cup
I like
finals.
the idea of playing games. Yeah. I like that idea.
It'll be cool.
Giving some playing games, because you can't do 3 game sets here of the Caps versus the Devils.
Exactly.
that's not great, right. Doing 3 games with that. Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah,
I do.
No, that'd be a good idea.
And what do you think of this? I thought of this for the NBA. I think they should do a March Madness tournament with all 32 teams.
That'd be cool.
When they come back.
That'd be really
Give
cool.
us a bracket to fill out with 32.
That's so sick. I would love that.
Bucks, give me, what it would be, Knicks versus Sixers, 1 game. Let's go. Let's go, Knicks.
I think that'd be so fun. I just
that'd
don't
be
know how that would
so
work
cool.
Out. You're gonna have to play a few back-to-backs there.
I mean, you play every other, you kind of almost set it up like March Madness had it. You play a Thursday, Saturday, a Friday, Sunday. You can come back even, maybe you don't want to wait till Thursday, come back Wednesday, Thursday. Right. I mean, there's definitely ways to figure it out.
Right.
But, I definitely think coming back with a regular season in either sport doesn't appeal to me. Does not appeal to me. I don't want to, what the hell does it matter if, the Devils and the Ducks play a game. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. Just give me the playoffs, when they come back.
I agree. Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
It's going to be and they don't even know what the heck they're going to do. I mean, you could speculate all you want, but, I mean, there's no way of telling until this is all done, because there's nothing coming back for a while.
Yep. All right, that was good. We nailed our final 5 minutes there, and obviously the MLB, what should they do? We know 2 Yankees guys got infected. I want to wait. Baseball should just, at this point, shorten the season. Wait till this thing starts dying down. Wait till you can get fans back and just play like 112 game season, whatever it's going to be.
I don't have any problem with that.
I think that's what the MLB should do.
Yeah. There's no way, because the more they push it back, the further the World Series would be. What are you going to do? You're going to have a World Series? Yeah,
you don't want to play the World Series. Although I did see like something like that saying, it won't be played in cold weather. They would just make it in Miami.
Yeah,
they would just put it in Miami, which I don't like either, because nothing's like going to a World Series game.
No, of course not.
Haven't been to one in a while, but I know there's nothing like it.
No, this year.
So that'll pretty much wrap it up here. Our first episode of Keep It on the DL. We will try to get one out every week. We recorded today. What's today's date? March.
St. Patrick's Day.
I don't even know St. Patrick's Day, Dev. I'm Italian.
March 17th. Me too. But come on.
March 17th. Don't forget, everyone, St. Patrick was from Rome. Don't forget that. Okay. That'll do it. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks, guys.